Always on air, online, on mobile. Fox Toledo News at 10 starts right now.
It is lean and the cuts will be felt all over the state. Ohio's governor unveiled his budget today. Good evening, I'm Laura Emerson. With an $8 billion deficit, Governor John Kasich promised a unique budget. Here's Fox Toledo's Sean Hegarty with a look at what is staying in and what's going.
Yeah, certainly a lot of changes in this one, of course, because the state helps fund so many things like schools and local governments. And everyone we really talked to over the last couple of months has expected this. They knew the cuts were coming, so people were prepared when they saw some of these numbers today. Some people pleasantly surprised. We'll get to that in a little bit here. But it doesn't make any of the cuts sting any less tonight. Those changes range from prisons to Medicaid to schools. Kasich says it's something Ohio has never seen, and he believes this will be the path to opening Ohio to businesses.
Tonight, we find out what it means to have a true visionary leading and occupying Ohio's governor's office.
A tall order for Ohio's new CEO. Let's start with schools. Kasich says actual state funding is increasing, but the state cannot make up for federal stimulus money that schools got last year.
We couldn't replace all that stimulus money, but you don't run a family on one-time money, nor do you run any operation on one-time money. But from the state support, basic foundation aid increases slightly.
Kasich's plan rewards teachers and doctors for performance, privatizes 5 state prisons, and tries to streamline Medicaid.
If you try to balance budgets and you show favoritism, or you have favored groups or somebody that you know, and you start doing that, you lose the high moral ground. People can accept change as long as the change is distributed in a fair and an honest way.
On the jobs front, he'd use state liquor sales as startup funding for his private job creation department.
What we have to do is to set a platform. We need to set the Ohio in a position of where people want to expand the jobs here in our state and where we can go all over this country and all over this world, if it can matter, to bring jobs to Ohio.
And as he promised, Kasich says all of this maintains the state income tax cut.
We have balanced this budget with no smoke and mirrors, and we have done it with a reform agenda that will put Ohio on a path to growth.
We have the whole budget posted on our website, foxtoledo.com. It's our top story tonight if you want to pour through some of those numbers this evening. Now, the Toledo Public School District has been patiently waiting to see how the governor's budget will affect its budget, for better or for worse. Right now, it's looking like the cuts are about what TPS budgeted for. Fox Toledo's Heather Miller continues our Team Fox coverage tonight. She spoke with administrators and is live with where those numbers come in. Heather?
Well, you want to remember that these numbers are actually preliminary, and the TPS superintendent and board says after looking at the governor's 2-year budget, they are looking at about a 14% reduction in state funding compared to last year. That translates to $28 million, exactly what they were planning for.
It's as bad as we feared because we were not content with plugging in a 14% reduction in state foundation dollars for next school year and the year after.
That means as long as the governor's budget holds, TPS is not looking at any additional cuts. But it won't be able to bring back any budget casualties either. So it looks like the transformational plan the district unveiled last month will be needed to close its nearly $40 million budget gap. 3/4 of that deficit includes the $28 million less they expect to get from the state. Last year, the district received a total of $205 million, but they knew that wouldn't happen again, especially considering a lack of stimulus funds.
You know, if everything holds true, we might have been pretty on, but part of that is, part of our job is to look at other sources for that information. For the last year and a half, we've been getting advice from the State Department of Education. We've been looking at, the auditor's office. So to say that, we looked into a crystal ball is a little bit false.
Based on those estimates the district came up with, it's looking to cut costs by creating K-8 neighborhood schools and cutting nearly 350 positions, including 132 curriculum support teachers and 34 administrators. So even though the governor's budget cuts could have been worse, it's definitely not good.
So to think of this as good news is difficult for us because we've been constantly cutting. What we're really looking for is a transformational plan over the next couple of years to really make us financially stable.
This is actually the 4th year in a row the state has cut funding for TPS. The district won't know the exact tally until the Ohio Department of Education crunches Kasich's numbers. That is expected to happen this week, and TPS hopes to have that information on Friday or on Monday. The school district's budget does not have to be passed until the end of June. Reporting live, Heather Miller, Fox Toledo News.